A Bit Lost by Chris Haughton. Uh-oh. Are you okay? Asked Squirrel. I'm lost, said Little Owl. Where's my mummy? Don't worry, little friend. I'll help you find your mummy. What does she look like? My mummy is very big. Like this, said Little Owl. Yes, I know, said Squirrel. Follow me. Here she is. Here's your mummy. No, said Little Owl. That's not my mummy. My mummy has pointy ears, like this. Yes, I know, said Squirrel. Follow me. Here she is. Here's your mummy. No, said Little Owl. That's not my mummy. My mummy has big eyes, like this. Yes. I know, said Squirrel. Follow me. Here she is. Here's your mummy. No, said Little Owl. That's not my mummy either. Wait a minute, said Frog. I know your mummy. Follow me. Your mummy's been looking everywhere for you. Is this your mummy? Yes, here she is. Here's my mummy. Oh, thank you, said Mummy Owl. Why don't you come up to our nest for some cookies? Yes, please, said Squirrel. Cookies are our favorite thing. Uh-oh. Frederick by Leo Lionni. All along the meadow, where the cows grazed and the horses ran, there was an old stone wall. In that wall, not far from the barn and the granary, a chatty family of field mice had their home. But the farmers had moved away, the barn abandoned, and the granary stood empty. And since winter was not far off, the little mice began to gather corn and nuts and wheat and straw. They worked all day and night. All except Frederick. Frederick, why don't you work? They asked. I do work, said Frederick. I gather sun rays for the cold, dark winter days. And when they saw Frederick sitting there, staring at the meadow, they said, "And now, Frederick?" "I gather colors," answered Frederick simply, "for the winter is gray." And once Frederick seemed half asleep. "Are you dreaming, Frederick?" they asked reproachfully. But Frederick said, "Oh no, I am gathering words, for the winter days are long and many, and we'll run out of things to say." The winter days came, and when the first snow fell, the 5 little mice took to their hideout in the stones. In the beginning, there was lots to eat, and the mice told stories of foolish foxes and silly cats. They were a happy family. But little by little, they had nibbled up most of the nuts and berries, and the straw was gone, and the corn was only a memory. It was cold in the wall, and no one felt like chatting. Then they remembered what Frederick had said about sun rays and colors and words. "What about your supplies, Frederick?" they asked. "Close your eyes," said Frederick, as he climbed on the big stone. "Now I send you the rays of the sun. Do you feel how their golden glow?" And as Frederick spoke of the sun, the 4 little mice began to feel warmer. Was it Frederick's voice? Was it magic? "And how about all the colors, Frederick?" they asked anxiously. "Close your eyes again," Frederick said, and when he told them of the blue periwinkles, the red poppies in the yellow wheat, and the green leaves of the berry bush, they saw the colors as clearly as if they had been painted in their minds. "And the words, Frederick?" Frederick cleared his throat, waited a moment, and then, as if from a stage, he said,
"Who scatters snowflakes? Who melts the ice? Who spoils the weather? Who makes it nice? Who grows the 4-leaf clovers in June? Who dims the daylight? Who lights the moon? 4 little field mice who live in the sky, 4 little field mice like you and I. One is the spring mouse who turns on the showers, and then comes the summer who paints the flowers. The fall mouse is next with walnuts and wheat, and winter is last with cold little feet. Aren't we lucky for seasons of 4? Think of a year with 1 less or 1 more."
When Frederick had finished, they all applauded. "But Frederick," they said, "you are a poet." Frederick blushed, took a bow, and said shyly, "I know it." George and Martha, an encore by James Marshall. Story number 1, The Dance Recital. George and Martha were having a disagreement. "I think dancing is dumb," said George. "Dancing is not dumb," exclaimed Martha. "Dancing is fun, and if you don't come to my dance recital, I'll be very angry." So, of course, George went to Martha's recital. "I'm going to hate this," he said to himself. But what a surprise for George! Martha's dance of the happy butterfly was so impressive. "Dancing looks like fun," said George. The next day, George went to dancing class. "You see," said Martha, "dancing is fun." Very soon, George was in his own dance recital. Martha said that his Mexican hot dance was the best she had ever seen. The second story, The French Lesson. George went to Martha's house for his French lesson. "Bonjour, Martha," said George. "Bonjour, George," said Martha. George sat next to Martha on the sofa. "How do you say 'give me a kiss' in French?" asked George. "You say, 'Voulez-vous m'embrasser?'" answered Martha. And that is just what George did. "Tee-hee," said Martha. "I knew you were going to do that." Story number 4. The Beach. One day George and Martha went to the beach. "I love the beach," exclaimed Martha. "So do I," said George. "However, we must be sure to put on our suntan lotion." But Martha refused to put on her suntan lotion. "You'll be sorry," George called out. "Oh, pooh," said his friend. "You're a fuss budget, George." Martha was having a lovely time. The next day, Martha had a terrible sunburn. She felt all hot and itchy. But George never said "I told you so," because that's not what friends are for. The Lost Story, The Garden. Martha was so discouraged. Her garden was an ugly mess of weeds. "I just don't seem to have a green thumb," she sobbed. George hated to see Martha unhappy. He wanted so much to help. Suddenly, George had a splendid idea. He went to the florist and bought all the tulips in the shop. Tulips were Martha's favorite flowers. Very quietly, George crept into Martha's garden and stuck the tulips in the ground. But just then, Martha happened to look out the window. "Oh dear," said George, "you're always catching me." But Martha was so pleased. "Dear George," she said, "I would much rather have a friend like you than all the gardens in the world." The end.